What's up, YouTube viewers? It's me, Johnny. Right now, I'm in Guadalajara. I'm in the close to this kind of where the second-class bus station is for people to go to Chapala, and for people who go to what's that place? Tequila. Anyhow, it's been a really beautiful day here. I want to talk about some of the crazy shit going on in the United States. I just saw a video, I don't know, a while back about how some countries are mandating you have to have the vaccine. And one of them is going to be Costa Rica. Now, my opinion is whatever Costa Rica does will not be enforced. My second opinion is they will probably change it in the next few weeks or months. And then the third thing is, this is Latin America. How the hell will they enforce this? One thing I can tell you, no one really gives a hoot in Mexico, Guatemala. I can tell you whether you got a vaccine or not. Another thing I can tell you is if you don't have one, people just think you're crazy or they don't care. Another thing I can tell you, people always ask me about, Johnny, what about homeschooling? I keep hearing homeschooling is illegal. And then I always say, yeah, but no one even knows what the rules and laws are. Even if they do, they don't care. Like, I know it's just so many people who homeschool. In fact, I know more people in Latin Americans homeschooling too, because it's coming kind of a thing. And here, no one really cares. The only thing they get disappointed is if there's a new gringo in town and you don't put your kids in a private elite school, then they're a little disappointed because they don't get to mix and mingle with your kids, because it's kind of a status thing for some people. I'm not sure why. Anyways, the reason I bring all this up is no matter what the rules and laws are, they mostly never get enforced. Now, the person who made this video about Costa Rica was just pointing out how there's already a few exemptions, like I think banks and a few other places where if you don't get the jab, you can still go to the bank. But like if you want to eat, go to a bar, you're going to have to like prove it. Except for the fact that people go to bars and restaurants and no one asks you for your card. Anyways, that's one thing going on in the States. I think the same thing is going to happen in the States, where there's going to be some states maybe they have this mandate, others they don't. And even if they do, I don't know that it's really going to be enforced. Another thing is Thailand was going to do it where you have to have a vaccine to enter the country. Then they totally got rid of it. Now, why they did that, I don't know. I think some countries are figuring out a lot of people with money don't really want to show a vaccine card. And there's just a lot of people who just don't have the vaccine card or don't want to go get it. Now, for me, I got the card in case I need the card for some reason. But so far, I haven't really been asked for it anywhere. Again, I'm in Mexico right now. Mexico doesn't have any laws that I'm aware of that you need to even be vaccinated. They don't have anything where you even have to have a test to enter the country. And again, I want to stress, I travel overland, so I don't travel through the airport. So if they have a different policy at the airport, I'm not aware of it. I don't usually use the airports. The only time I use the airports is when I'm flying to either Southeast Asia, out of Mexico City, or I'm flying to Latin America, usually to South America like Lima or, there's a city in Colombia, I can't remember, or Sao Paulo or Rio. Usually Rio's cheaper. A lot of times you're flying to South America, usually if you're flying to either Lima, Rio, and then there's, I want to say Medellin, but I don't think it's Medellin. It's that other city where you can fly into really cheap for like $250 to $300. Now lately I've been keeping track, and prices can go from $250 for a round trip to like Colombia or Peru to like $500. That's like in one day. Then they go back down, they go back up, they go back down. A couple months ago, you could fly into Brazil for like $500 or $400 actually. Now it's like $700, $800, at least last time I checked. Anyhow, I don't know what the future is going to hold for that, but that's some just craziness going on right now. Another thing is in the United States, there's an article about some of the central bankers and the central planners getting caught insider trading. Two of the governors got caught out. Now Jerome Powell just got caught out. Probably most of my viewers don't care about it. That's fine. But probably what that means is we might get a new Fed chairman, which probably means we'll probably get an MMT type political influence to print more money. which probably means if you have assets, you may want to lean towards gold or Bitcoin or land or a home or live off the grid to hedge all that potential inflation that may be coming down the pike. But one of my biggest things is seeing in the United States is seeing how the economy is being kind of mismanaged and tore up with all these mandates. That's part of the reason I think quite a few expats I'm talking to, they're expats, they don't really live in the USA, but they're spending less and less time in the USA, and that's kind of my plan. Because the way things are going, it'll be harder and harder to earn a living. And you get, like, just as an example, when I left, I saw there's companies now, like if you don't have the vaccine, you have to pay an extra $200 a month in health insurance if you don't have the vaccine. If your wife, and the same thing your wife, like they were punishing the person insured and the person's wife, making them pay like an extra $200. And then on top of that, they're firing people if they don't have the vaccine. They're just creating this huge divide in our society between the haves and have-nots. And it's really going to, I think, impact the society as far as, because you may have heard by now, a lot of people aren't working voluntarily. They just stopped working. There's a lot more shortages now. I think part of the reason people aren't working, even though wages have been going up, is because of partly this vaccine thing. They just don't want to work right. So they're digging their heels in. They're not cooperating. They're quitting their jobs. They're living off savings. They're doing other things, whatever. I don't know. Maybe there's a better answer for why people are quitting their jobs, but there's a great divide right now in the U.S., and that's part of the reason I don't want to live there anymore. It's part of the reason I hear more and more expats telling me they don't want to visit the U.S. as much anymore. They don't want to spend time there as much unless they have family. My whole thing is just family. Just family, yeah. But now as things change, we're getting to the point now. I just read an article today on Facebook. Well, it was in Spanish, but it's about Facebook. Facebook is going to hire 10,000 employees, and they're going to work in the metaverse, which means they're going to have some kind of job where they're working online, where they have, I don't know what the metaverse is exactly. I know what it kind of is, but you're going to have your 3D goggles or whatever you call them, your things you wear. You're going to be in another world, but you're going to be an employee working in that world as if it's the real thing. Basically, you're going to be probably sitting in your house with your special glasses or some little chip you put in your glasses or on your glasses, and you're going to be working some job that you can do just anywhere in the world. Because of the way technology is going, if you're going to work, you might as well just do that or just work online. That's what I'm going to do. Spending just a brief amount of time in the States was tough. It's not pleasant as much. People are, to me, it seems like people are on edge. It seems like people are really divided. And there's just people who want to dig in and stay in the States and live in the small towns. That's what I do if I was going to live there. Or there's people who want to just leave. I'm in the camp. I just want to leave, at least for a while. And I like Latin America. I like the Philippines. It's no secret on this channel. I spend a lot of time in the Philippines. I spend a lot of time in Mexico and Guatemala. So these are my favorite places to live. So they're affordable. You can get apartments for $200 or $300. You can get apartments for even cheaper. And in most of these countries, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can work. You can basically work like an acquaintance of mine in Brazil. You can basically work 20 hours a week and pay all your bills and save a few bucks. So I'm at the point where I don't see the point of working 68 hours a week, where you're constantly paying more and more taxes, higher and higher insurance bills. You can't really seem to get ahead, and the government seems to be imposing more and more tax burdens on the middle class, on the lower classes. There also seems to be a great, I don't want to say dislike, a great hatred, maybe is too strong a word, but there's a certain disregard for people in the middle class right now. You're treated as a bad guy. You're expected to pay more tax. As we've seen from recent stories, more and more of the wealthy are checking out too. They're not paying tax anymore either. They're putting their money offshore or in trusts, so they don't pay any tax. So really the only people paying tax are like middle class people and some lower class people who pay like withholding tax and stuff. So that's kind of my beef. I don't see the point in sticking around and paying tax and being punished, especially when it seems like there's a certain social class in the U.S. who really looks down on on the middle classes with great amount of, not hatred, but they really dislike them, and I don't like that. And right now you can check out, right now the way technology is going, you can easily leave, or you can go leave and live in one of the smaller states, in a smaller town where things just cost a lot less. Like where my folks live, the median house now is over $350,000. So even if you make like $20 an hour, you're never going to make enough to buy a home there. Even if you make $25 an hour, you're not going to make enough to buy a home when the median price is $350,000 now. Where my folks live, homes are like $250,000, and they're nice homes. I'm not saying they're not, but it wasn't that long ago when they were only like 120, and then they went to like 160, 170, then 180. And this happened really fast over the span, I would say over the span of about 5 or 6 years. So to me, that's related to all this money printing. So it's getting to the point now where the cost of living, you're going to get priced out if you don't make quite a lot of money. Then on top of that, you're going to be paying a lot of tax. Then depending on social programs and social justice and all that nonsense, you're going to be paying extra whether you have the vaccine or not. You're going to be, like right now they're talking about in the States, like if you don't have the vaccine, you're not going to be able to rent. You're not going to be able to work. You're not going to be able to go to a bank. You're not going to be able to do a lot of stuff without the vaccine. And I can only see that happening in maybe half the states. I hope the other half disregard it. But time will tell. We'll see what's going on. Anyways, that's what's on my mind today. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about all this vaccine nonsense. I think it's getting a little out of hand. So far down here, I haven't seen too much. I'm going to be in, well, I won't say where I'll be, but I'm planning on probably going toward the east coast of Mexico and then going to Guatemala. I have to see how my money situation lasts. But anyhow, have a good night wherever you guys are. Take care.